The Democratic Party's core electoral strategy in recent cycles, especially leading into the upcoming 2026 midterms, has been largely centered on framing the election as a direct repudiation of Donald Trump and the political movement he leads. This approach relies on leveraging the strong antipathy and high engagement of voters, motivated primarily by opposition to the former president's agenda and conduct, emphasizing themes of protecting democracy and constitutional rights. While this strategy successfully fueled the blue wave in 2018 and secured key victories in off-year races, like the 2025 New York mayoral election and contests in New Jersey and Virginia, its consistent effectiveness is challenged by other dominant issues, primarily sustained economic anxiety and the structural advantages held by the Republican Party in redistricting. Analysis, reasons and consequences. Core reasons for the strategy. The reliance on the anti-Trump strategy stems from three primary political realities. 1. High-intensity opposition. Donald Trump consistently elicits a high level of political engagement, both for and against him. For Democrats, opposition to Trump acts as the single greatest unifying and mobilizing force. Polling often shows that voters who state their intention is to send a message against Trump outnumber those intending to send a message of support. This dynamic generates the necessary turnout edge, particularly among youth, women, and urban-suburban independents, that is crucial for winning competitive elections. 2. Referendum success. Historical midterm trends usually punish the incumbent president's party. However, when Trump is involved, the election often pivots away from a referendum on the sitting administration, currently led by the Republican president, according to recent search data, and becomes a referendum on Trump himself. Since Trump's approval ratings often register in the net negative, especially with independents, positioning the race as a clear choice between the status quo and the opposition is a logical move. Number 3, ideological clarity. For a politically diverse Democratic coalition, anti-Trumpism provides a clear, easily understood, unifying message focused on defending democratic norms and constitutional integrity, allowing different factions within the party to rally under a common banner without extensive policy negotiation. Consequences and trade-offs. The strategy, while effective at mobilization, carries significant consequences. Policy deficit. A heavy focus on personality and institutional threats can allow the opposition to seize control of the narrative on kitchen table issues like inflation, cost of living, and the economy. In races where economic concerns dominate, as noted in the 2025 Virginia elections, candidates who fail to merge the anti-Trump message with a compelling economic platform can struggle. Fueling polarization. By making every race a national referendum on one figure, the strategy exacerbates political polarization, making cross-party cooperation virtually impossible and increasing the intensity of political conflict at all levels of government. The Trump dependence trap. The strategy risks making the Democratic Party dependent on the continued presence and controversial actions of Trump to drive voter enthusiasm. Should the political landscape shift, or the former president's profile diminish, the party would face a challenge in motivating its base with traditional policy appeals alone. Prediction and future outlook. For the 2026 midterms, the repudiation strategy is likely to continue dominating Democratic messaging, but its success will be nuanced and geographic. For the House, the anti-Trump factor, combined with the normal historical midterm tendency for the non-presidential party to gain seats, suggests a high probability that Democrats will remain competitive in the battle for the House of Representatives. Victories will be secured in suburban swing districts where anti-Trump sentiment is highest among college-educated voters. The Senate. The Senate map presents a major structural challenge. With a disproportionately large number of Democratic-held seats up for election in increasingly Republican-leaning states, known as a challenging map, the anti-Trump factor alone may not be enough to overcome the entrenched Republican base vote. Senate contests will require hyperlocal candidates who can both leverage the national repudiation message and demonstrate crossover appeal on local economic and regional issues. Number 6, the economy's role. The ultimate outcome will hinge on whether voters prioritize their perceived threat to democratic institutions. the anti-Trump arguments for their financial condition in the economic argument. The party that most effectively connects Trump's policies to negative economic outcomes will hold the advantage with the crucial independent voter bloc. Proposed solutions for adaptation. To maximize the strategy's effectiveness and insulate the party against economic headwinds, the Democrats should adopt a more integrated approach. 7. Pivot to anti-MAGA economics. The repudiation strategy must be expanded beyond personality. Democrats should explicitly link the Trump movement's agenda, such as proposed tax cuts for the wealthy or cuts to federal services, to higher costs for working families. For instance, frame the fight against the opposition not just as a fight for democracy, but as a fight for affordable housing, lower healthcare costs, and better wages, all of which are threatened by the opposition's alleged one big beautiful bill policies. 8. Lead with local policy wins. Candidates, especially in marginal districts, should foreground achievable local policy solutions, freezing rent, universal childcare, faster transit, that resonate with daily economic struggles. This demonstrates competence and provides a tangible reason to vote for the candidate, not just against the opposition. 9. Sustain voter engagement beyond the top ticket. Relying solely on Trump to motivate voters is reactive. The party must invest continuously in grassroots mobilization and voter registration, ensuring that key constituencies, young people and minority voters, maintain their high level of interest in all elections, regardless of who is at the top of the ticket. The goal must be to institutionalize the high engagement that the repudiation strategy temporarily provides. By blending the powerful emotional force of the anti-Trump message with a clear, aggressive economic agenda, the Democratic strategy can transition from merely being reactive opposition to offering a compelling, proactive alternative for the country's future.